Hello? Ooh, let me get off of that. Golly. Hello, YouTube. Oh, what is today? The 11th, 12th? Still drinking root beer. Root beer. You get that stuff at a um, Tractor Supply. Pretty good. About $1, $1.20, something like that. Real good. I ain't been drinking no beer in a little over a month and a week, something like that. 5 weeks. I don't know. Nothing. No beer, no nothing. I ain't really got nothing to tell y'all about. Um, Ex-girlfriend of mine stole my truck the other day. Pulled in an Easy Mart and was talking to her. She just went outside and got my truck and just moved about 30 feet. Just looked at me the whole time. Like, what are you going to do? Nothing. I ain't going to do nothing. I laughed at her, told her she's goofy. About me, if you ever go out with me and you break up with me, one out of, oh, look at my finger. One out of all the women I've dated or went out with or spent, some time with in a relationship, one I don't get along with out of all of them. All the rest of them to this very second. Uh, if they don't come hang out to this day, if they don't come over for holidays and birthdays, and yeah, I've got exes that still to this day come to holidays. No reason not to get along. Um, with the one I don't get along with, it's just what it is. Don't wish her any ill. Don't wish her any nothing. She deserves everything bad that she gets. It's just how it is. You shit on somebody and do them wrong enough for no reason whatsoever. Yeah, you deserve everything bad that happens to you, and that's just how it is. Um, Work is crazy. Nothing's going on. Hadn't made a video in a while. Still sober, like I said. Nothing good, nothing bad. Getting ready for Christmas. I know some of you guys may be all over the world. You may or may not celebrate Christmas. I don't know what you do. It's gonna be a good time. Oh, my wife went to jail a couple weeks ago. I told y'all about that on Facebook. Um, you know how they say, "Oh, find the biggest person and just beat them up." Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's not how you. You just look stupid. You get your ass beat first of all for trying to jump on the biggest person who really can fight, and then you look stupid because you believed it. Yeah, she went to jail, crying, hollering, fighting everybody, slinging stuff, throwing her food, slinging her drinks, smearing poop on the walls, just yelling at everybody. And I was like, calm down, just quit crying. Here, let me give you some money, bail you out. She said, I don't want to. I'm going to stay here. Well, you stay your ass there then. And she did. And I told her, when she got out, I said, look, if you're going to keep acting that way, I'm going to find somebody else to play Monopoly with. I'm not doing it no more. Poop on the walls. You smear poop on the walls. So I'm going to wait a little while. We may play again later. I don't know. Don't give her no damn draw for an Uno. Oh my God. I can't be that way. She puts up with me. She loves me, I think. She did hit the lottery. I got to tell you all that. You ought to know that. We didn't make a big deal out of it. She hit the lottery. She called me. She said, oh my God, baby, you won't believe it. I said, what? You say, you know how we do a little pool at work? I said, yeah. She said, well, pack your bags. I hit the lottery. I said, oh, golly. I said, where are we going? She said, I don't care where you go. Just pack your shit. Make sure you're not home when I get there. Mean to me, y'all. Told you I didn't have nothing to talk about, didn't I? Hmm. I got another buddy of mine. Um, he's got a channel. I think I tagged him in the last one. Told a story about him. He does his videos way different, and I'm gonna get him to sit down and do an interview with me, probably pretty quick. And then I'm gonna get another buddy of mine to maybe come play guitar, and I'll play guitar with him. Maybe record it, maybe make a clip out of it, maybe sing a couple of songs. I don't know. But that's not what I'm doing different. I told you guys I'm gonna do something different, and I'm gonna try it this one time. I'm gonna see how it goes, and if it don't go, I'll never do it again. And if it does go, so a little short story. I think I'm gonna read maybe one chapter, maybe two, and then when I get done, if you guys want to hear some more, leave it in the comments. If there's no comments, I'll never do it again. But because I have nothing to talk about, and I told you I'm gonna do something entirely different, this is what I'm doing. You already know I could read, did you? Yeah, I can read. All right, so it's in this phone because the name of the story, short story. Hope that's not backwards. It's Cricket Song. Bear with me. Let's see if we can get through it. Maybe one chapter, maybe two. Cricket Song, Chapter 1. Put it down, son. Just put it down. Listen to me. Just think about this. Ricky never wavered. He had made his decision, and now it was time. He smiled. Check. In a quiet shack tucked in the shadow of a long abandoned mine, a worn wooden table stood beneath the dim glow of a bare bowl. The checkered pattern etched into its surface had faded with time, yet it called out to those who understood its language. Every afternoon, almost without fail, old Mr. Calloway would take his seat there, setting up the modest chessboard he bought long ago. He was a relic of the past, with a worn ball cap permanently affixed to his head and overalls draped over his wiry frame, his weathered face blending into the quiet surroundings like the rustling leaves outside the cracked windows. Most people just passed him by without a second glance. But not Ricky. Ricky, 15 years old and full of knobby knees and restless energy, had spent many afternoons with Mr. Calloway. His mop of dark curls, perpetually untamed, framed a brimming face with curiosity. For most of his short years on this earth, Ricky had known the old man, watching him contemplate the chessboard as if it held secrets only he could unlock. On this warm summer afternoon, the routine seemed unshakable, like nothing in the world could disturb the serious relationship of their ritual, until the sound of an engine shattered the stillness. The low growl of a vehicle approached, accompanied by the crunch of gravel beneath the tires. Mr. Calloway's hand froze mid-move, his sharp gray eyes narrowing with the flicker of something Ricky hadn't seen before. Anger. "Wait here, son," Mr. Calloway snapped. He dropped the piece into play, his voice firmer than Ricky was used to. It was more of a command than a request. Ricky sprang to his feet, his gaze darting toward the back door. "Who is it?" he whispered, his voice laced with unease. He hesitated, his eyes darting between the old man and the door. Then reluctantly, he sank back into his chair, his fingers nervously drumming against the edge of the table. Through the warped glass of the shack's front window, he caught sight of the vehicle pulling into the drive. Sheriff Heath. Mr. Calloway stepped outside, his movements deliberate but calm. Ricky craned his neck, trying to see through the sliver of the door that was left ajar. The sheriff, a broad-shouldered man with neatly pressed uniform, climbed out of his car. He adjusted his hat and leaned casually against the hood, as if he were there for a friendly visit. As though he were there for a friendly visit. The deputy stayed in the car, which was expected. Deputy Thomas Clark, for what he was worth, was small and frail. He always put Ricky in mind of a scared puppy. He couldn't remember how many times his dad would cuss the deputy, call him a chicken and yellow, mostly while drunk. During the countless times they had responded, his dad would invite him to step out from the sheriff's shadow and take off that badge. Ricky could feel the tension thickening in the air, coiling like a spring ready to snap. "Evening, Calloway," the sheriff said, his voice carrying just enough to reach Ricky's ears. "We need to have a word." Mr. Calloway didn't reply immediately. He stood there, his silhouette framed against the fading light, a figure both fragile yet unyielding. Finally he spoke, his voice low and steady. "What's this about, Wayne?" "You know why I'm here," Sheriff Heath replied, his tone hardening slightly. "Nothing's changed," said Mr. Calloway, "least of all my mind." Ricky's heart thudded in his chest. He had no idea what they were talking about, but something about the sheriff's words and Mr. Calloway's response made his stomach twist. The sheriff sighed, pushing off the car. "I don't want any trouble, Calloway. If you keep pushing me, there's going to be consequences for you and anyone else caught in the middle." Ricky gripped the edge of the table, his knuckles white. He wanted to run to the door to demand answers, but something in Mr. Calloway's command kept him frozen in place. After what felt like an eternity, the sheriff climbed back into his car. The engine roared to life, and the sound faded into the distance. Only then did Mr. Calloway step inside. Ricky looked up at him, his voice barely above a whisper. What did he mean? Calloway closed the door behind him, his face unreadable. "Don't you worry about them, boy," he said, his voice soft but firm. He walked back to the table, sitting down across from Ricky as if nothing happened. "Let's finish our game." Ricky couldn't shake the feeling something had shifted. The game wasn't about chess anymore. As the old man moved his rook, the dim light above flickered, and somewhere outside, the steady hum of crickets filled the silence. Chapter 2, we got time. Ricky stared at the board, his mind racing. The air in the shack felt heavier now, as if it too was waiting for something to happen. Mr. Calloway sat back in his chair, his expression calm but his eyes distant, like they were focused on something beyond the checkerboard. I didn't know that turn. "Your move, son," said the old man, his voice steady. Ricky's hand hovered over his knife, but he wasn't thinking about chess anymore. "Mr. Calloway, what's really going on?" he blurted out, the words tumbling from his mouth before he could stop them. The old man paused, his fingers resting lightly on the edge of the table. For a moment, Ricky thought he wouldn't answer, but then Mr. Calloway leaned forward, his voice dropping to a near whisper. "Sometimes, Ricky, people don't like it when you know things they'd rather keep hidden." Ricky frowned. "What kind of things?" Calloway tapped the chessboard gently. "The kind of thing can topple kings and make pawns out of powerful men. The kind of things that make people like Sheriff Heath nervous." Ricky's eyes widened. He had always known Mr. Calloway was different, but he never imagined the old man might have secrets big enough to draw the sheriff to their quiet little shack. "Is that why he's here?" Ricky asked. "'Cause you know something?" Mr. Calloway's lips pressed into a thin line. "Wayne Heath has been after me for years, boy. He thinks there's a fortune left down there." He nodded toward the mine. "All it takes is one wrong move, and the whole board resets." Ricky didn't fully understand, but the weight in the old man's words made his chest tighten. "So what do we do?" he asked. Mr. Calloway chuckled softly, the sound unexpectedly light in a tense room. "We play our game, Ricky. We play it, and we play it smart." He gestured at the chessboard, his weathered hand moving with practiced ease. "Speaking of which, you left your king wide open." Ricky blinked, snapped his attention back in the game. Sure enough, his king was exposed, and Mr. Calloway's rook loomed ominously nearby. Despite everything swirling in his head, a small smile tugged at the corner of his mouth. "Not for long," Ricky said, sliding his bishop across the board. "Check. Again." Mr. Calloway leaned back in his chair, a faint smile appearing on lips. "Now you're learning." As they continued the game, the boy couldn't help but glance at the door every now and then, half expecting the sheriff to return. Something told him this was just the beginning of whatever storm was that was brewing. For the first time, Ricky felt like he wasn't just a spectator in Mr. Calloway's mysterious world. He was part of it. All right, so that's chapter 2, 1 and 2 of the Cricket Song. And get that straight again. I didn't know I kicked it. My bad. My bad. You guys are like, why did he read that? Or like, what the hell? To be quite honest, because I wrote the story. Told you I can read, right? Yeah, I wrote it. I've got it on my phone. I think I got it put on Kindle. They're reviewing it, whatever. It ain't gonna sell for nothing. Ain't gonna cost a penny. I just get bored and I don't drink, and I sit out here and I'm like, well, hell, I got nothing better to do. My mind just so I thought I'd write a little old short story, and that's chapter 2, and it's got 11 chapters. And if I get any kind of response at all, I might just put it in Dropbox, and if you want to see it, I'll send you the whole story for free. And I might read it 2 chapters at a time. There's 11 chapters. I'll do 5 readings, and the 6th reading, I'll get you the end of it. All right, you guys, it's been 16 minutes of me bullshitting and reading and kicking the camera. So, yeah, that's what's going on. Like I said, if I get a good response, I'll keep reading. If I don't get a response, I'll quit reading. All right, love you guys to death. Thanks for watching. Bye.